G'day, it's Rob here again. Well, I often get people say to me, you know, gee Rob, you're lucky the way you get bargains at times, you know, and I can never seem to find this stuff, you know. I look and look, but never seem to find the stuff. Well, it's not difficult. You just have to keep your eyes open and know where to look. Quite often the places that are the most unlikely are where you should be looking. Now, for instance, I went down to the Salvation Army op shop this morning to drop off some clothing, and I often drop stuff off to the salvos, you know, they do a good job, you know, furniture and clothing, and you can drop anything off down there really, except electrical goods. They don't take that, of course, because of safety reasons. Anyway, I'm down there dropping off the clothing, and I always have a wander around, and quite often they'll have bits and pieces, you know, tooling and garden stuff, and yeah, you name it. Anyway, there's a table set out there, and there's a whole lot of shed stuff on there. Packets of nuts and bolts, and Allen keys, and spanners, and tenon saws, and big saws, and little saws, and you name it, all sorts of stuff. Of course, I've got a lot of that stuff, so I don't want any more of it. But when it comes to nuts and bolts, you can never have too many nuts and bolts, because you just never know. I must have a zillion nuts and bolts from, you know, over the years. But if you ever see them at the right price, yeah, grab them. Because you go and buy nuts and bolts, they're not cheap. They're not cheap. Anyway, there's one container there, 24 of these bolts in it. No nuts, just the bolts. 8mm. $3. I don't know what they cost new, but they'd be a bloody sight more expensive than $3, I'll tell you right now. So I grabbed them. Okay, there's no nuts. There's not much good without nuts. But I knew I had a container of 8mm nuts in the shed, just sitting there without the bolts. I've got some bolts in there that they will fit. But anyway, perfect situation. So for $3, I've got nuts and bolts ready to go. Anyway, I have a bit more of a look around. And there's one other thing that is on the table that you should never pass by. Every shed, every workshop should have them. Now, these are what you're talking about. This is my old original set that I used when I was farming, and I've had them for years and years and years. They're a good set. And you can cut stuff up to 3mm with them. They're 8-inch bolt cutters. I mean, you've got the regular big bolt cutters that, you know, you use for all sorts of heavy stuff, but the little light ones are good for fencing particularly, or snipping off ends of welding rods if you stick welding, and very handy. Now if you look on eBay, you're going to buy a set, the cheapest you're going to get is about $12. I picked these up down there on the table, pretty much virtually unused, $3. $3. So for $6 I would get the bolts and the little bolt cutters. How cool is that, eh? They're really good. Now if you ever buy second-hand bolt cutters of any size, always pinch them up. If you can see daylight through the jaws, anywhere, don't touch them. Don't touch them. They're buggered, because they're almost impossible to fix up. You can, you know, even if you could weld them up and regrind them, you still got to get the angles right, and nah, it's not worth the effort. But for $3, and they look like new, I got them. The interesting thing with these is if you look at the end of them, they're flat on one side of the jaw and angled on the other. Normally bolt cutters are equally angled. They come in on from both sides. Here's my regular set. You can see on there, so you've got equilateral triangle. That's how normal bolt cutters are. This is more like you find on, say, a pair of regular pliers on the wire cutting side of things. And I thought, I wonder how these will go. You know, when I bought them, I noticed it, and I thought, I wonder how these go. They go bloody well, I tell you what. These things cut better than my old ones. But of course the old ones have done a lot of work, and they've dulled off a bit, so, you know, it's apples and oranges, I suppose. But certainly, if you do buy them, that's something to watch out for, and don't be afraid to buy this sort of pattern. This works really well, really well. Anyway, there's something for you to think about. Just a tip. It's a good opportunity to show you, you know, yeah, you can save a bit of money, you know, I can save a fortune, but, you know, just pick stuff up as you see it, and over the years, you slowly build up your shed, finish up, you can equip a workshop for next to bugger all, and have a bit of fun snooping around at the same time as you're doing it. Okay, that's it from me. Time to go. See you next time. Cheers.